Welcome back to another episode of FC Mobile Season 12 Manager Mode. And as you can see, if you're questioning, we are in Pro Division 1. And I'll tell you what's going to happen. So basically, we're going to do a mid-season reset. As you can see, 16 days left. So let me explain the situation we're in. Basically, we're in a situation where we were at, I think it was World Class 1. Yeah, we had World Class 1, World Class 2. And basically, because of how high of a rating we had, we got stuck into, what I mean getting stuck is basically we would just go up against FC Champion Legendary 1 opponents. So we weren't actually progressing. Changed all the tactics, didn't really help that much either. So basically what I've done is essentially I've tanked. So as you can see, 1.0.0. Yeah. We've been on purposely losing as many games as possible to tank our rating in the hopes that eventually, once it gets down a bit, we'll start to build back up and we'll get back to that normal level because of how high our rating was. It kind of hurts us in the fact that we couldn't really progress. So what I mean by that is that's the typical rating you want to have going into a World Class 2 division. If you can have that rating, you'll be fine, right? Obviously, we're on 103. We should compete against most teams, but the way this game works, it's very weird, so things never really went to plan as they should, but so essentially what we're going to try and do is maybe try to get down to 200,000 and then go from there. So this video is more of going to be an update rather than us really playing it. So this is not something I'd recommend you do like last week. This is something, or like you have to do this in the middle of the season. So you have to be delicate about this. You're gonna have to play like 50 to 100 games to really be consistent in this. So what we've done essentially is put out our Chelsea lineup that we always said we were gonna build up. We never really got back to it, especially after a lot of especially how things went. Plus, Chelsea aren't really doing great, so they don't get a lot of cards. I have Nkunku there as they score the goal, but one thing's for sure, it is very hard to find highly rated Chelsea players. But right now, we're kind of just giving people free wins, so, call us a charity, but, just trying to tank, trying desperately to get that rating down. If we can get it down to under 200,000 and then go from there, I think that would be great because I think 200,000, the lower it's about where you need to start off. Because I think you start off in World Class 1 with a rating of like 180 something. So getting down to like 200 should be fine. The biggest reason why I'm doing this is because as much as the game's supposed to go off of your division, it kind of goes more off of your rating than your division. So a lot of the teams we're still playing are hundreds, 100 or 102 overalls. But because they have such low ratings, we get paired up with them. And that's what we're going to try and take advantage of, is getting to play against some of these teams that have really low rating or have some, high ratings than their team overall is. But, I feel like this is a team we could beat again. But, we really want to make sure everything goes to plan here. So, just doing a giant reset. But now, the one thing I haven't been able to do in a while is to give you guys like an actual update in terms of goals, in terms of assists, in terms of man of the matches, key features. So this is, we're just going to call this the mid-season update. And what I mean by this is, you guys get to, catch up. If you haven't been watching most of my videos, you can kind of see where players are at. And also, I play a lot of matches off camera, so you kind of get the feeling of where our team is at, uh, what's going on, what could be happening. So, first thing I'm going to start off with is the goal tally, because we've had some players reach some huge milestones already. So, first thing, Martinez is. Well, actually, first I'll start off with leaders this season. So, leading in terms of goals this season, that's offside, but leading in terms of goals this season with 80 goals already this season, which keep in mind, we're not even halfway through the season. I think Eusebio had 181 goals, so they're on track to reach Eusebio's record from last season. But it's not the captain, surprisingly enough. Our leading goal scorer is not the captain, and if you've been watching my videos, you would think it would be our captain because he scored so many goals on camera, which that's true. That's a great goal from way far out for Gerard, but Eusebio not leading goal in the goal scoring category right now. It is, in fact, Martinez who's leading the goal category with 80 goals this season. Now, the captain's only 6 behind him with 74 goals, but I mean, still pretty impressive. And I'll tell you what, one thing that's interesting in third place, which the drop off from our strikers to our center mid is pretty, well, I gave it kind of away. To our next scores is 34 goals. So 80 goals. Literally, Martinez has double the amount of goals that any of our non-strikers players have. So Martinez 80 goals. Eusebio with 74 goals. Then it's Fabian Ruiz, which will come as a shock because, I mean, he is good, but he's not really a goal scorer, you would think. Well, Fabian Ruiz, in his debut season, has 40 goals. And I'll tell you what, he's been probably one of my best players this season. I mean, we'll get to other. Is that a penalty for us? A free kick? It's a free kick. But let's see how this goes. And Kunku blasted over the wall. But yeah, Fabian Ruiz has been really excellent this season. Did not think he was coming to make that big of a difference. I thought he would control games. He's came out not just controlling games. He's come out and said, I'm going to be the attacker too. I mean, he's scoring goals from all different types of angles. I mean, some of the goals he's scored are just incredible. And I'm kind of mad I haven't got many of them on camera. I don't know what it is. Doesn't perform well on camera, but off camera, one of the best players in this team. He's got 40 goals. And then behind him, I'm trying to see. And yeah, 5 behind him at 35 goals. You got Bruno Fernandes, which may come to you as it doesn't really come to you as a shot because we saw Bruno Fernandes last season. He had 55 goals. He's upped his goals. He's on track to beat that, but definitely, I mean, we know how good he is. We know how good Bruno Fernandes is. So, I mean, and yeah, as you can see now, we're starting to face some low overall. So we're not done quite yet, but the more and more and more we get this rating down, hopefully we're able to eventually once we get down into that right range, we pick it back up. I think we'll win a lot of our matches very easily, and hopefully it'll help us to get back to where we were. But here we go. So, that being said, going back into the goals wall. But yeah, Bruno Fernandes at 35 goals. Phil Foden at 34 goals. And then Salah at 30 goals. Those are pretty much all your regular goal scorers, I would say. Yeah. So the wingers, I don't know what it is. The wingers just haven't been as effective as we thought. Don't get me wrong, they've been pretty good, but definitely not the impact we thought they were going to have. Fabian Ruiz having a stellar impact, and we mentioned how Fabian Ruiz had 40 goals. He also has 40 assists, but he doesn't lead assists. But, I mean, he's been superb for the club. Not only does he create goals for himself, he also regularly sets up his teammates. 40 assists is pretty insane, but so to kick us off for the assists, once again, first season keeping assists and leading in the assist category. Once again, it's Martinez again, and he has 51 assists. So already throughout this season, he has 131 goal and assists, or goal contributions. Crazy numbers he's putting up. And yeah, the next highest after him is our captain Eusebio, and he's only got 41. So that kind of shows you that he has been superb this season, Martinez, and I mean, don't take it for granted, because this is by far one of Martinez's best seasons ever. Could break a lot of records here. That probably should have gone in the back of that, but that's just something to keep out for. So, next up, obviously Ruiz, but after that, kind of got a little mixed. Yeah, Bruno Fernandes at 35 goals, which is funny because I actually find this really funny. Both of our center mids, Ruiz and Bruno Fernandes, have the exact same goals as assists. So Ruiz has 40 goals, 40 assists. Bruno Fernandes has 35 goals and 35 assists. I don't know what it is. I guess it's the tactics that we play where they find the back of the net just as often as they set up others. So I guess that's a good thing to see. But yeah, I mean, 35 assists for him. You've got our wingers with Foden has 23. Salah has 27. I'm trying to see if I'm missing any. And then Roberto Carlos has 14, but I think like majority of his assists come from corners, and truth be told, he's not going to be at the club much longer. That is the one thing we are going to do is we are going to change a lot of things in terms of our team pretty soon. The biggest thing is, I'll show you guys after, but I actually did, I know a lot of people when the market pick tokens were refreshed were very eager to, spend their market pick tokens. I think I'd say 80 to 90% of SC Mobile community went and spent their tokens on, to get those high overall players, which caused a pretty big drop in terms of prices for these 99, 100 overall cards, which has kind of helped me secretly because even though I'm not going to be able to, because first of all, I didn't actually use my market pick, at least my top 50 market pick tokens. I don't think I used any, but for the top 50, I still haven't claimed that, but there's a reason. And it's a very risky reason. If you want, in terms of maximizing the amount of coins, I would say you probably should just do it at the start whenever it first refreshes. But if you're like me and you kind of realize now that after those after that first week where we kind of saw those 99 overall prices kind of crash, you're actually starting to see that now these market pick tokens, it might actually be worth, to just start keeping them or start keeping these players. Because for me, I could sell if I get a really high overall card that I don't need, but I'll show you because, yeah, back-to-back losses, no surprise. But the one thing I do want to say, for extra time and market pick tokens, right? I think the one people kind of forget is if you look, pick expires in 18 days. So before 18 days, we're going to obviously claim our player. But the one thing I think people were quite eager to purchase, and the one thing, if you notice, obviously, in the rewards now you can pack, 101 R9, 101 Cannavaro, some of the cards that you couldn't pack. And it refreshes, I think, almost a week from today, right? So, with that being said now, obviously we have Hall of Legends Part B players. We'll just quickly go. I mean, you have Baresi, trying to see. Just put icons at this point. But there's a lot of icons in the game that you couldn't collect before. You have the R9. You have Eusebio. You have I don't think Carlos Alberto's in there yet. Baresi, Van der Sar even, right? So the one thing that it does benefit me not straight away picking these players is you're probably going to get better players. There's a better chance you get a higher overall player. There's a chance you get a player that might fit into your squad better, right? So now, I mean, top 50, I might not be able to sell it for a lot of coins, but there's a better chance that it's going to be more useful in my squad. But yeah, there you have it. That's going to be it. So that's your mid-season update, if you call it. Yeah, I mean, we will see how the season ends up, but we are definitely playing risky. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Peace.